Hey, good news. Today's Monday the 25th when I'm recording this of 2021. FluentCRM just had a major update. It is now up to version 2.3. There are a lot of new integrations, but the one that has me the most excited is an integration with ThriveCart. And that's going to just save me a lot of time and trouble and a little bit of money too. So I'll tell you what's new once we get inside. Hi, my name is William Beam with Suburbia Press. We like to help people who are online entrepreneurs understand and use the technology that powers their business. FluentCRM is one of those tools that I really love. So is ThriveCart. That's your email system, that's your cart system. And with ThriveCart Learn and Learn Plus, that's now also your membership or course system if you want to use it that way. What I want to concentrate on today is some of the things that are new inside of FluentCRM with version 2.3, and also to give you a little bit of a demo of how the connection between ThriveCart and FluentCRM works. So this is the announcement page. You can see it's on their blog posts introducing FluentCRM 2.3. They actually increased this to 2.3.1. They found that there was a slight bug with Elementor and it caused some problems. They've since fixed that. The same day they announced it. So when you upgrade, please make sure you have version 2.3.1 if you are an Elementor user. That shouldn't be a problem. I think that'll be in the repository. And it's just something I wanted to point out. There was just a slight little hiccup there. They got sorted out the same day that this dropped. So what we have going on here, I'm scrolling down quite a bit. Let's start off with the seamless contact import. You may have some of these tools and maybe you've got users in them and you want to get them to FluentCRM. Now you can do a quick import. So you can see there's a comma separated value, WordPress users, of a few different learning systems. So Lifter LMS, LearnDash. There is Paid Membership Pro, Wishlist Member, which is what I use. And a couple of other things, also BuddyBoss. This is one that's been planned and in the works for a while, but now they have it. Let me give you a quick look. If we go over here to this setting that says add-ons, these are some of the things that FluentCRM has and recommends. This one called Fluent Connect, that's the one that right now it only connects you with ThriveCart, but you're going to need Fluent SMTP is the best way to connect FluentCRM to your email service. I use Amazon SES, but it does work with a number of other providers. Fluent Forms is a great way to set up forms on your system, whether it's a contact page or forms where people can sign up. And of course, that will integrate with FluentCRM. And Fluent Connect, I'll show you in just a moment. But as far as importing users, we can come over here to contacts. And over here on the side, you see where it says import. You're going to get this new pop-up. And what you see here is going to depend upon what you have active inside of your WordPress environment. So for example, I don't have BuddyBoss active on this, although I do own the platform. So only what you have. So if I want to import users from Wishlist Member, if I want to import from LearnDash, or I have WordPress users, and I think that's probably going to be common for a lot of people, I can click on this and I can choose which roles, so I can select the roles. And this next page that we see after you choose may vary from one system to another. So I chose WordPress users. If I'd chosen LearnDash, it might have shown me a different list. Then you can review the data before you do the import. So you can see over here, I've actually got dummy data from when I had BuddyBoss loaded on here. So I could import 13 people that are WordPress users into my FluentCRM environment. And I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and click no right now. But it's an easy way to do importing with version 2.3. And you can see there's a number of things right over here. So, and here is a list, if you just want to see it in list view, of the new integrations for that seamless import. Another advantage they have now is something called a persistent contact page. What they mean by that is, let's say you come up with a query, you go look for contacts, you click on somebody, and then when you want to go back, the query's gone. Well, now that query can still be there. So in other words, you don't have to go redo the query and then search for whoever's next. So when you click on somebody and look at them, when you go back, that query is still there. So as it says here, you'd lose all the filters you applied because the contact management page isn't persistent. From now on, that's not a problem. You don't have to worry. We've made the contact management page persistent. So when you put a query in there, it will stay there. Don't let this confuse you. If you put a query in, go do something else, and you come back and say, where are all my users? It's a persistent filter. So make sure you check your filters if you're missing some of your users all of a sudden. They've also done some updates to dynamic segments, and I'll take a look at this in a future release, but they've added a number of changes in here so that we can apply lists or tags to change the status of contacts while in a dynamic segment. They've changed the email templates, and there's a little bit of undo and redo, and honestly, I haven't gone through this yet. I'm kind of rushing through this because I really want to get down to the ThriveCart integration. And of course, this one I do like the ability to change an automation trigger. There are times when I created something, and then after I thought about it, I thought, there's a better way to do it. And since I couldn't change that automation trigger, the thing that started off an automation, I had to go build it all over again. I mean, you can clone these things, but it's so much easier if you could just change that. Well, now you can. And of course, people who use BuddyBoss or BuddyPress have been looking forward to integration. So now with FluentCRM, you can exchange, import the contacts, view the memberships. You can segment people based upon their membership and profiles. And of course, you've got your email marketing automation that we've done. So let's get down to, I'm skipping ahead. There's a little bit of LearnPress integration. I don't use LearnPress. I use LearnDash, but there are some advantages for people who use other products. And there's even improvements for easy digital downloads and LearnDash integration. So I will go over those in a future video, but here we go, ThriveCart integration. And because I'm eager, let me just go ahead and show you how this works. In order to do the integration with ThriveCart, you have a new tool. It is called Fluent Connect. Please notice that as this comes out, you can see it up here. It says beta. There is only one integration, that is with ThriveCart. So you can see your dashboards that show what's happened. There are two things you need to look at, data connectors, and over here on this side, API integrations. I'm going to click on data connectors, and you can do a different data connector for different things. What I'm going to do is first go over to API integrations because this is where you start. And I have to have an integration with ThriveCart. So let's connect a new API. It's going to be the same as this one. I'll probably end up deleting that. But so what happens is you need to get an API from ThriveCart. You go to your ThriveCart, take a look over here on your name and go down to settings, and you'll see in this bottom corner, it says APIs and webhooks. So you come to APIs, and you can see I've got one on Suburbia Press. I have one on the demo site. Let's create a new API, and I'm just going to call this test API. And it gives you a key. You can copy that, close this, and then you come back over here and you need to paste that in here. Also notice down here it says you can find ThriveCart API key from account, settings, API, and webhook. So in case you forget where to look, they've put a nice reminder here. It's those little touches that make me really love this company. I mean, they help you every step of the way. So I don't want to change the password. So now it gives me a webhook. And I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to take this back over to ThriveCart. And I'm going to click on here to go back. I'm going to click on webhooks. You can only have 5. So I've used 4 out of my 5. So I'm going to go ahead and click add another webhook and give it a quick name. I'm going to type in paste in the webhook, say save this webhook. And you see a notification that says it's been accepted. And I've added all 5 of mine. So all that's really telling me is like, if I want to do something else, I need to get rid of this, which in the future I will. Once that's done, you come over here and click, I have done it. And then say one more step. Please set the webhook now on ThriveCart. I've done that. And we're going to say publish anyway. Now, when I did this before, I'm going to tell you that I ran into a problem. And it just kind of refreshed that page over and over again. I didn't know what was going on. Turned out it was a browser cache issue. I had to go back and clear out my browser, try that again, and then it worked successfully. So support with FluentCRM signed onto my site, figured that out and said, yep, it's a browser cache issue. I thought I had everything done right. I didn't. So if you run into a problem here and it just keeps coming back and it says, set up a new data connector, or you get a cookie error or something like that, clear out your browser cache and then go ahead and try that out. So now that you've got your API integration done and you can get a success that it's connected, now you can come over here to your data connectors. So we're going to add a new connector. It's best if you know what this is for, but since right now we're just going to call it test. All right, so you've got your title over here and you can go back and change that. Notice that it's in draft up here. The only integration we have, of course, is ThriveCart. And this is the name of my integration. So you can see I've got two because I've done the same thing twice, but let's go ahead and just pick the first one. And then you go ahead and continue. So the first thing, select your trigger, is select the integration. Then you need to select the integration event. There are only 3. And this is where I use these names up here. So I might use it, if I have a course, I'll call it course name dash order success on ThriveCart, course name dash order refund on ThriveCart. And if you have a membership, I might call it whatever the membership name is, subscription canceled on ThriveCart. And then of course you can select your product. I'll go with my test product over here. And you can do multiple products. So it's kind of like tags. Where you see this little X, you can add more than one if you want to. And if you leave this blank, it will work on any subscription canceled on ThriveCart. So you give it a name over here, and this is where I would probably come and call it SP test, because that's the name of my alleged membership. And then this down here, you see where it says activate this trigger. And over here, you'll see where it says draft. Well, in order to change that to publish, you click this, you see it says published, and then you save. So that's the first part. That's the trigger. When someone cancels a subscription on ThriveCart for this particular course, or excuse me, membership, then select the action. And the integration I have, of course, is with FluentCRM. So I'll select that. I'll go continue. And then you may want to remove a tag, or you want to remove a list. You may want to add a tag or add a list. So since somebody's being canceled, I could add a tag that says canceled membership, and it will click and list on these little things over here. So I might have tags that were already created in FluentCRM, and that's what this is pulling from, tags or lists you've already created. Don't come here to set up a new one. This is going to simply filter what you have. It's not going to allow you to create a new tag in FluentCRM. So when you do these data connectors, plan ahead, understand what the trigger is that you want, have tags or lists or both ready to use here. And I'm just going to use this one for order refund. And then you can do your status. Maybe that since they canceled, you may want to unsubscribe them. And then if you want to give this a label, you can say add a tag, and you call that whatever you want. And then click activate this action. You can see that's published, so you can save that. Now you can add other actions. So in other words, you can have one trigger that launches multiple things. Maybe one adds them to a list, another one adds them to a tag. Whatever is available in here, you can do. And then you can come over here and say status published, update your feed, and that's it. So if I come over to ThriveCart and I have somebody who's unsubscribing, they go ahead and update FluentCRM. Now I have a couple of contacts over here that I've tested previously. I'm not going to run through one now because this video is getting just a little bit long. But these over here are some of my email addresses I clicked onto, and it just simply added a test tag. And those are a couple that I've run through the Fluent Connect system from ThriveCart. It works well. The only problem I had was a caching problem on my browser. So if you're running into that issue, then try clearing all of your cache, run it again, and make sure it works. I'm using Chrome here. I've done this on Safari, so it worked on either browser for me. Now, right now we know that there are only 3 things that we can do. So if I come back down here to Fluent Connect, and we'll look at our data connectors, and you see that we have order success, order refund, and this one was a subscription that was canceled. On this page, I have a list from ThriveCart on their webhook notifications. There are some other parameters, and these webhook events, so order success, order refund, and I think order subscription canceled, are the only ones that are currently in Fluent Connect. I am hoping that all of these eventually get in. I could particularly use cart abandoned, and I'd like to know if a rebuild failed. I'd like to know about all of these. I don't have any affiliates that I'm worrying about paying out right now, but eventually down the road, that's quite a possibility. My hope is that all of these webhook events will make their way into Fluent Connect. The reason I'm really so happy with this is literally the day that I was going to give up on all of this and pay Zapier. It would have cost me close to $600 for a year subscription. And the reason for that is this. This is an array, and actually so is this one over here. This data type basically is like a record. It has many different data types connected within it. And I only need really the name and first name to go over to Fluent CRM for most of the things that I do. These other things are nice to have. And those things are available to me within Fluent Connect. But because this is an array, a lot of the tools that we have in WordPress that work with webhooks don't work with that data type of an array, because an array can be anything. It can be any different data type in there. So we can have, strings, we can have integers, and those work very well in most of your tools. So for example, I have Uncanny Automator, I have Fluent CRM. Both of them are able of receiving a webhook, but they do not understand an array. Well, what's happened is the folks at Fluent CRM took the time to write out the connectors so that we can import these arrays without having to deal with it. They've done all the mapping between what ThriveCart is sending and what Fluent CRM is receiving. And I am very grateful because, like I said, to do this within Zapier would have cost me close to $600 a year. And I think Zapier is just a really overpriced tool for what it does. It's middleware. Zapier does work very well. And it is the 800-pound gorilla of the internet middleware company. So there's other things called Pabbly and Integrately, and I looked at those, but Zapier is supported by ThriveCart as an autoresponder. And I could have done a webhook through those other less expensive ones, Integrately, Pabbly, and so forth, and they would have given me more events, but I don't know if they would have worked correctly unless I'd tried them out with this to see if I get email events or autoresponder events from ThriveCart. Now I don't have to worry about that because Fluent Connect has set up everything. It has an API key and it knows how to deliver with the webhook. I am extremely happy with this. I'm very grateful. And my only real request now, I'm going the wrong way, is to ask the folks at Fluent CRM if these other events that are not included right now will get there. I think they will. Remember what I said, Fluent Connect is a beta. It's kind of like a proof of concept in my mind. So it works very well. I'm happy with it. A few more events, I'll be even happier. And I think this is going to be really great for people who use both Fluent CRM and ThriveCart. It's going to save them a good amount of money. It's going to give them a proper integration because the folks at ThriveCart, although they know there are a lot of people who want this, they've told me that their development schedule is booked up for a year out. So it's probably going to take at least a year before they do their integration back with Fluent CRM as they have with other email services on their system. We're making progress, so I'm really happy to see that. Let me know, do you use Fluent CRM? Do you use ThriveCart? Are you interested? I do have some links in the description below. You can save 20% on Fluent CRM using my last name as a coupon code. I don't have any discounts on ThriveCart, but I am going to be preparing a course on ThriveCart, and hopefully I'll give that out as a bonus when that's ready. Thanks so much. Let me know in the comments what you think about this or any of the other new improvements with Fluent CRM 2.3, and I'll see you there. If you like this video, please go ahead, click like. That lets the YouTube overlords know that we've done something right, and they will share this with other people. Please subscribe. I'll have more videos on tools for online entrepreneurs, and click the bell notification icon. You'll be notified the next time a video comes out. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.